Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to my top 5 recommendations for the month of February. Now, as I said last month, I've changed the rules. They don't have to be first time watches. And, I kind of stuck to that because sometimes I don't watch a lot of movies now because of franchise frenzy that I once did first time. But it just so happens that this month, they're all first time watches. So that's good, I guess. Anyway, as my first honorable mention, I wanted to mention Jack Attack. Now, this is the sequel to Demonic Toys and also to Baby Oopsie. It has the same director, and I had an absolute blast with this movie. They keep turning them out over at Full Moon, and I'm liking it. And that's Jack Attack. My second honorable mention is a giallo called The Murder Clinic. This one is a early slasher movie. A lot of people call them proto slashers, but I'm not really all that fond of that terminology. It is a slasher movie or it's not. This is a slasher movie from 1966, so it's pretty early and it's pretty darn good. So, yeah. The Murder Clinic. Good movie. Great picture. Real Vault always seems to put out some good stuff. I've had a few things that weren't that great, but most of the copies have been really good. All right, coming in at number 5 is I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses. Ah, wow. This has been sitting in my collection for a little while. I was originally going to do it for body bags, but I decided to break it out and watch it, and this really impressed me. Um, I know not a lot of people think a whole lot of this film, but I really liked it. I'll be doing a review on it coming up later, but I will say this for now: it did remind me of a episode of Dateline, and I was very interested in it. Plus, this is a really good double feature from Severin. Yeah, the other movie is Recommendation for Mercy, I believe. Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, but I'm gonna get to it. All right, coming up next, number 4 is Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. This is so good. It's only 16 minutes long, but it is so much fun. You have to like shot on video in order to really appreciate this movie, but I just had a blast with it. I can see why it finally got a release from TerraVision, even at being only 16 minutes. But it also has the other feature, which I watched as well, called The Hook of Woodland Heights. And I like that as well. So, yeah. Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. TerraVision is knocking that out of the park. Speaking of refrigerators, coming up at number 3 is The Refrigerator. Now, I bought a bunch of bootlegs from my friend at my friend's flea market. And bootlegs is kind of a rough term. It is a bootleg, but it's done by a company that sells them. And the company is called VHSPS. And I probably bought about 7 or 8 of them. And I've watched most of them, and I've liked most of them. But this one is fantastic. Um, Not talked about very much. And if you go to get a VHS of it, because it is lost on VHS, it'll cost you about $5. So, yeah, the refrigerator is so much fun. I watched it with Joe and we had a blast, an absolute blast. Okay, coming in at number 2 is All Deceased Except the Dead. Now, this is funny because my daughter actually got this for me for Father's Day last year, I believe, and it's been sitting. Another one I was going to do for body bags eventually, but I just decided to break it out and watch it now. And it is a Giallo spoof. Back when Giallos were semi popular. I mean, this was towards the end of the 70s, and it wasn't as popular as it had been in the mid to early 70s. But this was absolutely fantastic. This is from 88 Films, and I really enjoyed this. I had a blast with it. I found myself laughing out loud so many times. Yeah, it's just fun. All deceased except the dead. But you also get a giallo in this film, along with a spoof. Which brings me to number one. Number one is a movie that was recommended to me for so many times. I've had this movie in my collection for probably 2, 3 years, and that is Evil Dead Trap. I actually first heard about this movie and how good it was from Sean Blue Digital. And it just kind of sat in my collection, and I never really. I took it out a couple times, put it back. Took it out, put it back. It's one of those things where I just never got around to watching it. I love this movie. I think it's really good. Now, here's the question I want to ask you guys. There is a sequel. Is it as good as this? Is it worth picking up? Just asking if those of you have seen the sequel to Evil Dead Trap, just let me know in the comments below. But for a recap, we have Evil Dead Trap, fantastic film. All deceased except the dead. The Refrigerator. Attack of the Killer Refrigerator. I Miss You, Hugs and Kisses. The Murder Clinic. And finally, Jack Attack from Demonic Toys. Remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time, peace.